Much better. No. 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 Stop. Oh my god, this is so good. Wow. I made like a milk tea sort of situation. We just got this maple black tea. Delta, please stop. Please stop. Tea right there, set the vibes. Set the vibes. Hi, you gonna listen to mommy? You gonna listen to mommy? Please not knock over my tripod. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, Delta. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film today's video. I have my little tea ready to go and we are going to be chatting because today I thought it would be a fun video to film. I've seen this filmed by a couple different Planty YouTubers and I love watching their videos because it's so interesting to see everyone's different perspective on what makes like an ultimate good, like amazing plant to have in your home. So I'm super excited. This is my version of if I could only pick one plant of this genus, this is the plant that I would choose. This is my version. I wanted to preface that there are some genuses that I don't have in my home. Like I was thinking, I've watched a lot of different Planty YouTubers and they always talk about alocasia. I have no alocasias in my home, so you won't be seeing that. It's not that I didn't leave it out, it's that I don't have any of those in my home. So these are the genuses that I could think of in my home, and I was looking at other plants. Like obviously I have some plants that I'm not talking about because I only have one. So I'm not going to be talking about it because it's the one plant that I have. So these were the categories that I came up with as like amazing. I think you absolutely have to have categories in your home, and I have multiples of them. So this is what I chose from what I have. Obviously there are so many different types of plants in each genus. I alone have like over 40 Hoya. So it took me a really long time to decide what I thought was the ultimate have to have in my collection. Like if I had to get rid of all the other ones, it makes me so sad to even think about. But if I had to get rid of all of the other ones in my collection, this would be the one that I think I would want above all the others, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm super excited to talk about it. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 categories, 11 genuses that I thought of in my home to go over. So yeah, I'm super excited to get into it. If you want to see what I think the ultimate wish list plants are that you need to have, like if you could only have one of this type of genus in your house, this is what I think you should have based on my experience, then just keep on watching. I'm so excited. Okay, so the first one that came to mind, I went through genuses in my head, like the ones I have the most of, and I know that it was going to take me a long time to decide between. Obviously, the first one that came to mind is Hoya. I think I have more Hoya than anything else in my collection, and so it took me a really, really long time to decide what I would want. The issue with Hoya is that there are so many different looks you can get in a Hoya. I have big leaves. I don't have that many big leaves, but I do have them and they get very, very large. I also have Hoyas that have really, really tiny leaves. I have thin leaf Hoyas. I have all different types. I have trellis, I have hanging. There's so many different types of Hoyas that you can have. And so I kept looking through my collection. I absolutely love my Hoyas. I was like, there's not a single one that I feel like decluttering at this time. I love all of them, all 40 of them, and I initially thought of something else, which I will talk about as a round 2, but I did choose this one because of one reason alone, and that is my Hoya chingensis. I do have it here with me. I did bring it down from the south-facing window to show you guys. I absolutely love my Hoya chingensis. I have showed this in the past in previous videos, but it has grown even more since showing it. It is long, you guys. I have to hold it all the way up just to see the tips of it. I don't even know, 3 feet long strands. We're finally starting to divide into like branches. You can see here, there we go. We're finally starting to get some division in the branches. Oh, I have to put this down. It is so heavy, you guys. I do have this in semi-hydro. If you can see that there, it is looking a little sparse in the top. One of my goals is to try cutting up some, putting it back in, but as you can see, it is branching itself a lot. The reason I chose this one, I talked about it in my Hoya collection video. If you didn't watch it, I'll put it somewhere so you can see. I am a lover of small leaved Hoyas. I really love all Hoyas, but I am particularly keen to collect the small ones. I think they just look really delicate and sweet, and I do love the large leaved ones, but they take up a lot of space, okay? Because they often require very large trellises. They don't do well in small trellises. And obviously the leaves are humongous, so you have to find space for a huge plant if you want to keep large leaves Hoyas, and I just don't love them enough to commit that amount of space for them into my home, if that makes sense. However, I do love small leaved Hoyas, and I find them to be easier to grow in my opinion. They grow super well and super fast, which is another reason I love them so much. This one's a little wonky right now because I did change the way it looked because I wanted to see the foliage. Obviously I had it facing this way to where it was facing the sun, but I wanted to see the foliage, so I turned it around, and now the leaves like don't know which way to face, and so the foliage looks a little silly right now, but I do love how dark this is. There are a lot of Hoyas that have splashing that I love, but I tend to just love your basic dark green foliage. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, if I did have to only have one Hoya in my home, I would absolutely choose this one. I also did choose this one because it is a regular bloomer for me. I unfortunately just went through a huge blooming cycle, and so this is the only one that I have left, and it only has these 3 little flowers, if you can see that. As well as you can see that there, it does have very sweet flowers. They're pretty basic. They're on the smaller side, but they are gorgeous, and I absolutely love them. They do smell floral, but not as strong as some of my other Hoyas. If you're looking for strong blooms, this is not it. Like strong smelling blooms, I would say. But this is a very regular bloomer for me. I get rounds of like 6 blooms plus, and this, like I said, just finished out a huge round of blooming for me. Unfortunately, they have all fallen, but it was absolutely stunning when it was blooming. This is a super easy to grow Hoya. I do recommend growing it in some sort of semi-hydro setup because that is what I'm growing it in, and it has just been amazing. I have never grown this in soil myself. I purchased it when it was in sphagnum moss, and I transferred the cuttings from sphagnum moss, or I just grew it out in sphagnum moss, cut up the cuttings, and then put them here in semi-hydro. So I haven't actually grown it in soil, but I'm sure it's gonna be just as good. I know that this plant is a grower because I've only had it for maybe a year, year and a half, but this plant came from absolute cuttings to this in that time, so it really likes to grow. I think it is just an amazing Hoya to start out with because you'll be so satisfied by how quick it grows. You'll probably get some blooms pretty easily as well because it didn't take long for this plant to bloom for me, and I think it's just an amazing Hoya to have in your home, and it's kind of just a all-around good plant. It grows well, it's easy to grow. I am struggling with pest on a little bit, but that's totally my fault. I had it around some other pesty plants, so I am seeing some of the foliage be damaged, but the new growth isn't, so I think I might have conquered that, but that's okay. I think it's par for the course with having houseplants, but I don't get that many pest problems on my Hoyas, which is why I'm a Hoya lover. They're super easy to grow in my opinion. I love all of them equally, but this one shines above the rest because when it's in my window and it's so long and luscious with the deep green foliage, I think it is just so stunning. So yeah, number 1, if I could only keep one, and again, this was hard. This was probably the hardest category for me because like I said, I do have the most Hoyas, and this is me saying I give this my stamp of approval because if I only had one Hoya, I would pick this. I was deciding between this and my Hoya Boitiai, which I have right here. and that is a thin-leafed Hoya, which is why I ended up not going with it, because I find it easy to care for, but I don't know if everyone would if you are an underwaterer. It's not as easy to take care of as this is, in my opinion. The thinner leafed Hoyas need a little bit more care, a little bit more water, more light, honestly, in my opinion, but I find that one a little bit heavier on the care category, which is why I ended up choosing this easy Hoya. So yeah, the first one for my Hoya category, if I could only pick one from the Hoya genus, it would be my Hoya chingagensis. I'm gonna go put this back because it is heavy. All right, so next category, as you can see, is Anthurium. Now, I am a lover of Anthurium. I have quite a few. I think in my Anthurium collection, I had around 20. I have added a few more, so I am over the 20 threshold for my Anthurium. I have lost quite a few Anthurium in my years learning how to take care of them, and I will say I feel as though I have finally cracked the Anthurium code, because all of my Anthurium are just looking stunning right now. If you do not know what this is, my choice for Anthurium is the Anthurium regale. It is often spoken of in the plant community as one of the harder Anthurium to care for, and I do understand that. It just took me a while to figure out what this plant wants, and since doing that, it has been growing amazing. So this is my choice. If I could only have one in my collection, it would be my regale. So there is some stipulations to this that I wanted to talk about. I will say, I don't think the Anthurium regale is going to be the best choice for beginners, but in this video, I took a lot of time to think if I could only have one Anthurium in my collection, which one I would choose and why, and this is the one I would choose. Because I have finally cracked the code on it. If it starts to go downhill, it might not be the best choice, but I have gotten like 3 good leaves in a row. This is its old leaf. Had a little bit of damage, but that's because I underwatered it. But look at this new leaf, you guys. It is stunning. I'm finally starting to get the regale veination that I absolutely love, that it's known for. And it's not even done hardening off yet. So this is gonna be a pretty ginormous leaf. So yeah, this is my choice. I do think Anthurium are a plant that everyone should own. I do think you need to understand that they have different care than your average houseplant, in my opinion. I do give mine the creme de la creme conditions in my house. They get the best light and the best humidity, because that is where I see that they thrive. I don't get as many crispy edges, yellow leaves, stuff like that. So I do think that this is my choice for the one Anthurium that I would keep. I just love it so much, and I love that it gets large quickly. I haven't had this plant for that long, and it has been sizing up for me amazingly, so I can't wait to see what this plant turns into when it gets really big. I just think it has those quintessential veins on it that people love in Anthurium, and I think it is just really unique amongst the Anthurium. Sorry, Delta hit the camera again if the angle changed. This pooch just wants to sit next to me, but she's got that frickin' cone on. I absolutely love the Anthurium regale. I made it #1 in my Anthurium collection video for a reason. It is one that I have personally wanted and coveted after my entire plant parenthood life. Probably like 10 years I have wanted an Anthurium regale, and within the last couple months I am finally starting to crack the code. So yeah, this is the one Anthurium that I would keep in my collection if I had to get rid of all the others. So absolutely love this one and highly recommend if you're an Anthurium lover. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. I'm gonna put this back in the greenhouse because I do not want to mess up this leaf. I'm not messing this leaf up. Okay, you guys, now I feel bad because I did not water this one before the video, so it is not looking in its best condition, and I need to take much better care of this one because this is my choice for, if I could only keep one orchid in my home, this would be it. This is my coconut orchid, you guys. I absolutely love this plant so much. It is not in its prime at the moment. Like I said, it needs a whole lot of water. I do keep this one in my greenhouse, and it does stay moist for a very long time, but I do find that I'm on the the underwatering side as a plant parent. I'm sorry if the angle keeps changing. Miss Thing really wants to be in the video today. But what was I saying? So my coconut orchid, I have to look up the actual name. I cannot think of it at the moment, but I call it the coconut orchid because the blooms smell like coconut. It is not currently blooming, so it's not the most spectacular plant to look at the moment, but when it is blooming, it is so beautiful. I think I've had this bloom for me 3 times. I have to look back through my phone and see, but the blooms smell so good, you guys. That's why this is my #1 choice. I have blooms that smell really good, like in all my orchids. I think I have around 10 orchids at this time, so I don't have the largest collection, so this is my choice based on what I have. But I just absolutely love this orchid. I love everything about it. I love the shape more than my other orchids. I love the long, wispy, like foliage that we have here. When it's in its prime, it's just so stunning. And when those blooms come out, it smells so, so good. So yeah, above all other orchids that I have, and like I said, I don't have that many, but this would absolutely be my choice. I highly recommend, if you can have the opportunity to smell it, if you see it somewhere, smell it. It smells like a sweet coconut, maybe like a little sunscreen in there as well. Oh, it's so good. And coconut is like one of my favorite scents. I have so many like coconut lotions and perfumes and stuff, so that is definitely why this is my choice for the one that I would keep. So yeah, if I could only keep one orchid in my collection based on what I currently have, it would absolutely be the coconut orchid. Love it so, so, so much. Highly recommend. Okay, so next is a genus that I only have a few of, and I talked about it in one of my other videos about how one of these was an absolute wish list plant of mine, and it still is, but it's giving me a little bit of trouble, and this one does not. So this is why I chose this one. These are lipstick plants. If you do not have any lipstick plants, I highly recommend. They are so beautiful and they bloom very, very readily. I feel as though blooms are not the most common thing in the houseplant community. Obviously they are for Hoya, but this plant blooms, okay? It's not just like a peduncle, it blooms everywhere. And so this has been a plant of mine that I have struggled with. We've had our moments, almost died, cut it back, you know, back and forth, but I have figured out the care. We've learned each other's needs, and it's starting to look absolutely stunning. So this is my choice, and it is the Black Pagoda lipstick plant. I don't know if you'll even be able to see me. This plant is ginormous. Absolutely love the foliage. It's super long. Super cool foliage. Love the way this looks, and I love the way the backs of the leaves look too. See if I'd be able to show you this. Some of these plants are heavy and your girl is weak. So wait, let me hold the top. There we go. If you can see the back of the foliage, it has this like deep purple veination throughout it. It is just so stunning. And as you can see, mine is large and in charge, okay? I bought this as a small plant, and I have cut it back so many times. It just keeps coming back. It is ginormous. This is my absolute favorite lipstick plant, and like I was saying before, the other lipstick plant that I have that I would have chosen because I like the blooms more than these is the Thai lipstick plant, but it has not grown as easily and as well for me as this one is growing. So I absolutely love this one. I will always have this in my collection. The blooms are stunning and the foliage is stunning, so it is just a win-win situation with this plant. I absolutely love it, and yeah, like I said, I will always have this in my collection. If this one doesn't make it, I will buy another one because I think it just adds a lot of texture and color, and it's just different than any other plant that I had. I was really trying to think of diversity in terms of this collection. The other choice that I had, the Thai lipstick plant, is just green foliage. So I thought that this would add something like foliage wise. If I were to only have one, I wanted to have the most variety possible. So this was the obvious choice for me. I mean, just look at that foliage. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it so much. So yeah, this is my choice. I only have 2 or 3, I don't even remember, like I said, but this is the one I would choose if I could only have one. I highly recommend you try it because I feel like it's kind of slept on. People used to talk about it at the beginning of me being on Planty social media, but they don't talk about it as much anymore. So I highly recommend you try one because it's just so cool. Such a cool plant. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, so here we have my choice for if I could only keep one Aglaonema for my collection, it would be this one. This is my Aglaonema Silver Bay, and I'm not sure if you watched my last video, but I did talk about it a little bit in that video. This is one of my oldest plants. I would say this Aglaonema is probably around 10-ish years old, and it has been through a lot with me. I moved this plant from Vermont, where I'm from, or where I used to live, all the way down here to Florida. It handled the move just fine, but I have neglected the absolute crap out of this plant. It was just one of those ones that I chucked into any corner that needed a little bit of green. And while I do think Aglaonema are fantastic plants to do that, you can't just keep them forever with no light and no water and expect them to thrive, which is what I was doing with this one. So I've now started to take care of her more, love her more, and she's starting to look ginormous and beautiful and lush. So I absolutely love the foliage of this one, and it's my choice because of just how resilient it is. I do have a lot of other Aglaonema in my collection that I love, but I think I love this foliage the most. It does have this like nice wide shape. No, you can't sit under the tripod. Well, you can't keep hitting the tripod, baby. You can't. It's not nice. Sit. Sit. Can you sit right there and stay? If you stay right there, then I think you can stay. Okay. I know. I know. You're so sad. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna keep you right there. And Mommy's gonna move the camera a little bit. How's that? How's that? You stay right there? If you see my hand moving, I'm petting Delta to make sure she doesn't move and hit the tripod again. But I love Aglaonema so much. They are one of the first plants I got into. When I first started collecting plants, I loved the shape of them. I like that they're easier to care for, and so I would definitely have an Aglaonema in my collection if I could only have a small number. And this would be the one that I would choose for sure. I think it's the one whose foliage I love the best. I love how easy it is to grow, and it's just a staple in my collection. I hope to have this plant, you know, for the rest of my life, this particular plant, because it's already 10 years old in my care. So it would be very cool to have this plant for a very long time, and I'm going to make sure I care for it so that it is. So yeah, Aglaonema Silver Bay would be the 100% choice for me, without a doubt. Aglaonema that I would have if I could only have one in my collection. So yeah, let's move on. I'm gonna put this back. You stay right there. You stay right there. You stay right there, Mommy. I know, I know. Okay, so next category is Monstera. If you see this one here, this is my Monstera adansini. Again, talked about it in my last video. I have multiple adancinis in my home, but I wanted to show you guys this one because this is my first time trying it in semi-hydro, and it's been going absolutely amazing. I probably put these nodes in. I did a chop and extend on my adancini a couple months ago, and so I had the nodes just in a prop box, like not doing anything. So I figured I would try them in semi-hydro, and it took off, you guys. I got these leaves probably like in a week of putting them in the semi-hydro, and it has already grown all the way to this. I do have this in a little vase, and it is in a no drainage vessel. So It is growing amazingly well. I do love different types of Monstera. I feel like in most videos I watch where people do this, the obvious choice for a lot of people is Monstera deliciosa. I do have a Monstera deliciosa. I do not have it currently in my house. My deliciosa lives outside because it is just so large. That is the con, in my opinion, of the Monstera deliciosa, and that is it gets humongous almost too quickly. And if you don't dedicate like a whole corner of your home to the Monstera deliciosa, it can get very cluttered very fast. I don't like plants that feel cluttered in my home. I like them to feel, you know, lived in, but also it's like sleek and styled. And the Monstera deliciosa, in my opinion, is just one that I have a hard time styling. I feel like it thrives outside, so why not keep it outside? To be fair, I live in Florida, so I do keep it out all year round. It is a plant that I can get away with having all year round. I do get a couple frosted leaves in the winter, but it came back with a vengeance and it's looking really beautiful right now. So she's happy outside, but inside my home, my favorite is the Adancini. I think that the holes in the leaves are just so cool and unique. I think that obviously a lot of plants get fenestrations like this, but this one is unique in the fact that it fenestrates quickly, very, very quickly. Like the immature leaves already have fenestrations on them, and I like the versatility of this plant. I have this as an example of it as a hanging plant. You can also put it up a pole as well, which I have done and I am in the process of doing. And I think that that is a really cool characteristic of a plant and the way that you can style it how you want. So if I want to keep the leaves small like this, I can, but if I want to make the leaves larger, I can do that as well by using a moss pole or a stake or whatever. So this was the obvious choice for me. I did think about couple other Monsteras. I have my Aglaonema right here. If you can see that, I do love this plant as well, but I haven't really gotten its full potential yet. I haven't gotten the fenestrations that I know that it's known for, versus this one fenestrates, you know, almost immediately. So it was my obvious choice. It would be the one that I would It would be the plant that I would keep if I absolutely had to only have one Monstera in my collection, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. I'm gonna go put this back. I have this resting up against the wall, and I'm hoping that that'll make it grow big leaves as well, so I can get a little like combo pot. So yeah, put that back. Stay. It's okay. Alright, so the next category that I wanted to talk about is Rhipsalis. Now, I don't have a lot of Rhipsalis in my collection, but the ones that I do, I absolutely love. And my choice for if I could only have one Rhipsalis was an easy choice as well, and that is the Rhipsalis paradoxa. I absolutely love this plant. I think it has the most unique foliage I've ever seen. I remember seeing this on someone's Instagram account maybe a year ago, 2 years, I'm not even sure, but I bought a cutting on Etsy. It was probably like $7 or something. If I remember it even being free shipping, like I bought it quick, like really quick, and I have gotten it to look like this. I just keep like breaking off pieces and putting it back in to get a fuller pot. So this is how full we are currently looking at, and it is around this tall. So it definitely is a fast grower in my opinion if you give it the right conditions. And I absolutely love it. I look at it all the time. It's growing a lot of aerial roots for me right now because we have a lot of humidity going on. It just wants to grow. And I think it is such a unique, cool plant, especially if you like hanging plants, which I do. I think it just hangs so beautifully. And again, I think I might even take this long dangler piece off, put it back, because I want it to be a very full pot eventually. That's my dream. So we're getting there. It's looking really good. It's just not as full as I want it to be. So I'm probably gonna take a couple more cuttings, but it's starting to like divide into two, which is cool. It grows really well for me, really fast. I have this in my west-facing window, so it gets very bright light, and I water it quite regularly because I feel like most people would think that they don't like a lot of water, but if you're giving it the proper amount of sun that it wants a good drink of water. I give it a drink probably like once a week or so, whenever it seems the foliage a little wrinkled. I did just water this a couple days ago, so it feels nice and hard right now, but if it were to ever like start to feel a little wrinkly, that's when I give it a water. So yeah, this was a quick one. Like I said, I think I have 4, I'm trying to think, 4 or 5 Rhipsalis in my collection. They are all beautiful and I do love all of them. I really enjoy the growth pattern of Rhipsalis, but this is my favorite. It's unlike any other plant I've ever seen in terms of the foliage. It adds a lot of really cool texture and shape, which is unique to this plant. A lot of plants have texture, but not quite like this. So yeah, Rhipsalis paradoxa is my choice for the one Rhipsalis I would keep in my collection if I had to get rid of all the others. Don't make me do it, I don't want to do it. All right, let's move on. I had to go in my bathroom to get these plants because all 3 of these plants are my choice for their respective categories. So I'll start off with snake plants. If I could only keep 1 snake plant in my collection, sorry. If I could only keep 1 snake plant in my collection, this would be the one that I keep. This is my variegated whale fin. She's just a little baby. I've had this for quite a while, but I have made a lot of pups. And so this is one of the pups of this plant. I think it is so stunning. I'm about to get a really cool leaf coming in, although it looks like it was broken, which sucks, but I absolutely love this plant. I do not have it in the light, the brightest of light, so I feel like the variegation is not popping out in the way that it maybe should. So maybe I'll put this in brighter light to show its characteristics, but I just love the shape of this plant. And again, it gets so much bigger than what this one is. This is just a pup. I think I got rid of the mother plant once because I just didn't have room or something, but we're gonna get it back big and stunning. I absolutely love this plant. I do not have the regular whale fin. I only have the variegated one, and I feel like I would love that one even more because in my collection, I don't have that much yellow variegation. It's not something that I really love. I tend to go for like a minty or white variegation in my home, but something about this one, I just love it. And it's just like that line down the sides. It's not really like in your face yellow variegated, so it's really beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I have a lot of snake plants in my home. I'm probably pushing like 10 to 15. I don't even know how many I have, but this is by far my favorite. The other ones I kind of use more for decor sort of situation in areas that don't have a lot of light, which is why I feel like I don't really pay attention to them as much. I love them, don't get me wrong, but I put them in places where I just kind of want a little bit of green without having to put a grow light or anything like that, versus this one. This sits on my bathroom vanity counter thing, so it gets front row. Everyone gets to see it anytime they go to the bathroom, and I absolutely love it. It deserves all the love because it is so stunning, and I can't wait to see it get big. So yeah, this is my choice for if I could only have 1 snake plant, I would keep my variegated whale fin. Okay. This category took me a long time. I have a lot of philodendron. I have not talked about my philodendron collection. It is definitely in the works for me to film a philodendron collection video because I do have a lot, and they are some of my oldest plants. Like, we're talking 7, 8 years old. Like, I have a lot of them that I truly love. But the one that I ended up choosing is one that I have gotten recently, and let me show it to you now. If you watch one of my other videos, you might know what it is. Just trying to get the leaves untangled. This was my choice for the one philodendron I would keep, and that is my variegated heartleaf philodendron. I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this plant. I think it is so stunning. It has been growing amazing for me. You can't really see it that much, but it has grown quite a bit. I feel like it didn't have any of these danglers when I first got it, and now we're working on quite a few dangling vines. Over here, this variegation is just stunning. I love the variegation when it first comes out, when it's all light like that. I wish it stayed like that. That's just the characteristic of the plant, to go darker as it gets more mature, but It is so, so beautiful and easy. I have this in my south-facing window. I just water it when the leaves start to look a little sad, and I think it is so cool. And the reason I chose this was because I feel as though this plant has a lot of diversity to it. I could keep it like this, or I could grow it up a pole, which I'm thinking about doing. Not 100% sure yet, but I'm thinking about doing that. So let me know if you've ever done that and how it worked out for you, because it's definitely on my list of like things I would love to see in my home. A nice large on a pole variegated heartleaf. I feel like that would be so cool. But I just love this plant. I love all my philodendron, don't get me wrong. But since I've added this one to my collection, I just fallen in love with it all over again. I used to have this plant decently early on in my plant parenthood, but I ended up selling it. I didn't have enough light for it, whatever. But now it has come back in my collection and I can't get enough of it. It is so stunning. So yeah, that is my choice for sure. This one took me a while because like I said, I have a lot of philodendron, but I love this one so much. So yeah, I chose my variegated heartleaf philodendron, and I think that is the one that I would keep if I had to get rid of all the others. And then the last one from my bathroom is my Scindapsus. Now, I don't have a lot of Scindapsus in my home. When I looked around, I have 3. And the one that I chose was also a plant that I've recently purchased, and that is my Mount Salac. I don't know how that's said. Mount Salac Scindapsus. I absolutely love this plant. I just find myself staring at it all the time. It's so gorgeous, and the leaves are large. It looks like an exotica, but slightly different. And I think it's even cooler than an exotica. I think it has a lot to offer in the leaf shape, and I just can't get enough of it. I have new growth popping out over here. Look at that new leaf. It's so cool. Focus. And like I said, I don't have very many to choose from, but I'm slowly starting to become more of a Scindapsus lover. I never had that many. They just didn't really speak to me, but I guess I'm starting to like them more because I've been obsessed with this one lately, and more so than my Argyraeus and Exotica that I have. So yeah, the Mount Salac, I highly recommend if you can find it. I got this one at the big box store on clearance, and so it is like a fancier Scindapsus, but you can get it for pretty cheap if you find one at the big box store. So highly recommend. All right, so next on my list is Epipremnum, and I absolutely love Epipremnum. Pothos, as well as they're known. I have a lot of them in my collection. I counted like over 10 when I was looking around, and it took me a while to decide because I think Epipremnum are amazing, diverse, and beautiful. There's so many different shapes and sizes when it comes to them, but I ended up choosing this one because I have loved this plant for years. Absolutely loved it, and I'm finally starting to get it to be the way I want it to be. It went through a huge problem with pest for a while, brought it back, and this one is not very good to show you, but I do have one outside that I want to show you that looks stunning. So this is my Epipremnum skeleton key. If you've never heard of it, it has these really, really cool leaves that look like keys. And this is one of the leaves. It's so cool. I love this plant so much. So I had this plant in a more immature state, going up a pole, like many vines going up a pole, and I had some pest problems, didn't take care of it in time, so I took it back to wet sticks, grew it out like that, ended up chucking a couple wet sticks outside, and now I have a beautiful skeleton pole going up my pecan tree in the back. And I just took a picture of it the other day. I'll attach it somewhere, but I have leaves like so big, and I think this plant is so stunning. I remember the jaw dropping reaction I had to it when I first saw it, because I had never seen a leaf look like that before, and I think they are just so cool. So this is the one I currently have on my moss pole. Again, like I said, it doesn't look too good. I took these leaves from outside, and we're working on getting it attached to the moss pole here. It is attached. You can see the roots. if you can see that, if it's not too sunny, and there's a root popping out of the moss pole. We're working on it. But for some reason I haven't been able to get this plant to thrive indoors for me, but it will. I believe in it because I just love this plant so much. And I also have it in its immature state to show you. So these are some more wet sticks that I took, and this is what it looks like immature. So it can also just make a beautiful like hanging plant, which is probably what I'm gonna do with this. Just keep it hanging and it'll just look kind of like a golden pothos. Like, it doesn't really have any of the characteristics of the skeleton key. It just looks like nice green leaves, which I think is cool if that's what you're looking for. But I think that the magic of this plant is seeing it transform from this to this and being able to have these monster leaves in your home. It's such a unique like conversation starter. And like I said, the ones outside look so much cooler. I'm gonna get this to look good, believe me. I love it. Like, look how skinny. It's so cool. I'm seeing in a year from now, this plant is gonna be absolutely stunning in my home, and I'm gonna have ginormous key-shaped leaves. That's the goal. That's what we are going to do. So yeah, Epipremnum skeleton key is the one that I chose. Other ones that I was thinking of was the Shangri-La. If you've never seen that, it's got cool spinach-like leaves, but I have just loved this one for years, and so this was my obvious choice because it has never looked the way I want it to inside my home, but it looks the way I want it to outside. So that's good enough for me. I want it to look beautiful inside, but I just love it and appreciate it so much that I'm willing to do the extra work to get it to look how I want it to look. So yeah, this is my choice. Like I said, I love Epipremnum. If you've never had them, highly recommend. Obviously there's like the golden pothos, which is beautiful hanging, or like the beauty of Epipremnum and why I chose what I chose is the vast difference of how they look when they're hanging versus when they're on a moss pole. I think it's truly magical watching them transform from just like a more basic looking leaf into something that gets very large, fenestrated, gorgeous, absolutely love. And this was one that I feel as though transforms the most. So this is my choice and I'm sticking to it. There's a lot of other things that I could have picked, but I picked the skeleton key because I have loved it for years. So obviously this is a big guy. This is my choice for if I could only keep one begonia in my collection. This is my Begonia natunaensis and it is humongous. So I'm probably just gonna show you the plant. You won't be able to see me for a second. Do a little B-roll action on this bad boy. It is so stunning. I love this plant so much. And it's actually a happy accident why I have this plant. So I really wanted the Begonia paulensis because of Fern. If you follow Fern, you know that she had the Begonia paulensis. So then I obviously wanted the Begonia paulensis, and I did find it from a shop on Etsy, but I wanted to get the free shipping. So I bought this plant because I thought it looked really cool. I was drawn to the leaf shape. I loved everything about it, truly. And I am so happy that I ended up purchasing this plant because this plant has been so much easier than the paulensis. The paulensis is hard to care for in my opinion. I'm not the most experienced begonia person, but this plant has just been a breeze. It grew from a tiny little plant to this. Like, this plant has been a monster lately. I repotted it into this humongous pot. Has multiple rounds of flowers in there right now, if you can see that there. And so much new growth. I see like 10 new leaves coming out right now as we speak. It is so easy, and I think that I am drawn to this type of plant, this type of begonia the most. This type of leaf shape is very satisfying to me. I love it, and I just look at this plant all the time. Some begonias I do well with, but most I'm a little bit on the struggle bus with. This one I don't really struggle with it at all. It seems to be well acclimated into my home. I do have it in room humidity. Couldn't think of the word humidity for a second. I have it acclimated to my room conditions versus other begonias that have to be in terrarium conditions. This one is my choice because I don't have to do that. Not that I'm against putting them in greenhouse or like higher humidity conditions, but it's just kind of easy when you don't have to worry about all that stuff. So this is my choice for that. The foliage is looking a little sad, but what I think is part of the beauty of this plant is when you cut it back, it comes back even more full. So if I cut off some of these ugly leaves, it's just gonna force the plant to push out more foliage, and it's gonna end up looking really beautiful. So that's what I do consistently to keep this plant happy. I make sure to keep it nice and pruned, and it's just gonna be stunning. I love it so much. This is absolutely my #1 choice. I do have a couple other begonias that I absolutely love as well. But in terms of keeping one in my collection, this would be the one that I choose because it is by far the easiest. It's the easiest plant, it grows the fastest, and it gets big really fast. So yeah, Begonia natunaensis is my choice for the one begonia I would keep in my home if I had to sadly get rid of all the other ones. I think that's it, you guys. Let me just double check my little notebook here. Like I said earlier, I do have other plants that I could have talked about in this video, but I wanted to talk about groups of plants that I have the most of. Obviously, I have one-offs here and there if I could only have one of like one of two. And I did talk about like Scindapsus, and I only have 3 of those, but I could literally be for a 4-hour video. This could be a 4-hour video talking about my plants. So is that thunder, Bubby? Yeah, the thunder's coming. She's scared. Sorry, Bubby. Well, I'm just about to get done. Now we can cuddle, okay? No, 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 no. Don't come over here. So that is the end of the video, you guys. That's everything I wanted to show you. I think I had a very well diverse collection. I have hangers, I have trellised, I have on a pole, everything in between, and I think that everything I chose is so easy to care for, which is why I chose it. If I'm only gonna have one in my collection, I want it to be something that's easy, that I don't have to work for to be beautiful. It's just automatically gonna be beautiful no matter what I do. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. Let me know what your choices would be for a video like this. I can't wait to hear what you guys say. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!
Thought that I would be a bit at peace by now.